What's up, everyone? So tonight I wanted to kind of switch gears, get into some of the more fundamental things. I've gone over cutting borders, we've gone over the stippling, some of the Cerakote stuff. Now the question is, what do you do after it's stippled? Okay, so here I have my personal EDC frame. It is a PF 940 CL. It's a FDE frame with a OD green Cerakote on it. I got some line work in there. So I didn't like the original pattern that I had on here. It was from when I very first started stippling, you know, really starting to hone my craft, and it just kind of looked like crap. So I went ahead and redid it because I'm a perfectionist about things like that. I want it to look good, you know. Appearance is everything. So I put my OP pattern on it, which it had originally, but this one turned out way better. As you can see from the pictures that I'm about to show you, I'll point out the problems in them. You know, I was holding down too long. My pattern wasn't very randomized. It was really that you could see lines in it, you know. I mean, it was just typical beginner rookie stuff, right? And I've come a long way, so I figured I might as well improve it, and I feel like I did. I think it turned out really nice. So it's done. Okay, the stippling is completed. I just turned my iron off. It's starting to cool down. Now the next step, right? You want it to look good. You don't want it to be rough. You want that grip there, but you don't want it to be painfully rough. If you look closely, you can see that there's some flashing, right? Some of the polymer is peeled up on it, kind of. I know the light's horrible. Sorry, I'm working on it. I promise this will be the last crappy video with crappy lighting. But so on the more aggressive textures, I'll take like a 600 or an 800 grit sanding drum, like one of these, and I'll run over it, okay, and that'll knock all those burrs off of it, okay, and get it kind of dulled down just a little bit. This is an EDC texture, so it doesn't have as much burnt material. It's just really light, but I still want it to smoothen out a little bit, right? Want to give it that factory finished look. So I talked in my last video about the torch, okay? You got to be careful, especially when there's Cerakote on it, because that Cerakote will bubble. I know I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again because it looks stupid when it bubbles. So we want it to look nice. That's what we're after. That's why I changed it, and I want to keep it that way. So as you're torching it, you don't want your torch to be too close. This is bigger than a lot of people use. It's just what I have, so it's what I've been using. I turn it way down, so it's not a huge flame, but there's enough heat there that it's going to do what we want. The polymer will actually somewhat caramelize, okay? It will burn. You don't want it to be super burnt because it'll change colors and it'll be really noticeable on the FDE. Black frames will hide it a little bit better, but it still kind of looks crappy. So it's very important you just move your torch back and forth over the area without holding it too long. You're not trying to burn it. You just want it to warm up enough that that polymer will kind of shrink onto itself and give it a nice finished look. So we'll get started. Okay, so I'm going to adjust that flame. See, I don't want it too much. Going to adjust the flame just enough that it's going to do what we need it to do. See, that's about right there. And then I'm very slowly going to just take and work this back and forth. Okay, not too close because I'm not trying to burn it, but close enough that it will do what we want it to do. And you'll see as you're going, you'll see the polymer start to change as it heats up and starts to soften and somewhat caramelize. I'm being very careful not to get too close to my Cerakote, and I'm just going to continue on the entire frame till it looks and feels the way I want it to. Okay, that looks pretty good. So get in there now, you can kind of see it's caramelized. It feels a lot better. It took all those burrs off. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna move on to the next section. Nice and easy. Oop. Just nice and easy. This is one of the worst parts to me, in my opinion, just because you've spent so much time on your frame, the prep work, the actual, cutting borders, getting the stipple the way you want it, and then you're sitting there putting a torch to it. But it's necessary to do, so you just got to be dang careful. That looks good. It's hot to the touch, but I like to take and just, once it kind of cools down a little bit, because that polymer will burn you and that's not fun, but I like to take and just run my hands on it, kind of crimp it down, just to make sure that it feels the way that it should, right? And that there's no parts that I missed. And you know what? I think that's what we want. I really like it. I think it turned out good. So I'm gonna turn the torch off. It's a short video, but it's, like I said, it's one of the most important parts to do in getting that really professional look, making it that first time quality and turning out just into an actual finished product, something that you can be proud of. So my lighting sucks. I'm gonna take a couple pictures. I'm gonna put them at the end of the video so you can see and compare it to the befores that you just got done seeing. And yeah, let me know what you think. Really appreciate all the support from everybody. Keep watching, keep sharing, and keep learning.